Good morning, everyone. It is 9:03, and I would like to call to order the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee of September 25th, 2025. But before we begin, please note that this meeting is being recorded. Welcome to everyone joining us here in person, as well as those listening in on. If you would like to provide public comment at today's meeting, and if you have not already done so, please let Thomas in the back of the room or Justine on the call-in line know what items you would like to speak on today. Madam Secretary, please begin by calling the roll.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. Starting with Director Demler.
Here.
Giudice.
Here.
Maston.
Here.
Farr is absent. Rabbit is absent. Vice Chair Rodoni.
Present.
Chair Garbarino.
Present.
And President Cochran.
Here.
All right, you have a quorum. You are not a committee of the whole. You also have Director Hill in the room, so that's and Hernandez.
Great.
So when we become a committee of the whole, I'll let you know. But so far, we're still a committee.
Thank you, Amarat. Please follow along by referring to the page numbers located on the bottom right-hand corner of your meeting packet. We will begin with agenda item number 3, which is to approve actions relative to award of contract number 2025 MD 009, Security Guard Services for Bus and Ferry Facilities to Barbier Security Group. The staff report begins on page 3, and Kelly is here to present.
Kelly and Kelly.
Oh, Kelly, yes. Kelly and Kelly are here to present this. Go ahead, ladies.
Number 3.
You're tomorrow.
It's better than being yesterday.
Good. Go ahead.
Good morning. Good morning, directors. Today I'm here to ask for your approval to award a contract for security guard services for bus and ferry. This went out to RFP, and after the selection committee vetted 21 responses. 2 were interviewed and scored, and the incumbent Barbier was the overall group selected for this RFP. It does include a 2-year base period with 3 one-year options for a total of just over $6 million for the total 5-year period. And if you have any questions about the contract, I'm happy to answer those now.
Anyone? Yes, Jim.
Yeah. The agenda item mentions interviewing 2 firms.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike other items, the item doesn't say who the 2 firms were. Tell us who the other 21 were. And it also doesn't break down the cost by division as to where the money's coming from, unlike other items. And I just wondered, is it all coming out of one pot, or is it coming out of some from bus, some from ferry, some from bridge, etc.?
So the first question, I believe it was Alliant. Was Alliant and Barbier were the 2 that were scored the highest out of the 21. I think that some from the 21 didn't make the scoring element. And then with the approach to how it's allocated, it's my understanding that it's allocated between division based on hours that are this bus uses predominantly the most amount of hours, and then ferry system it's tracked based on the hours used for each division, and then that's how the costs are allocated.
Okay.
In the future, we'll include more detail, Director Mast.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Kelly. Thank you. That concludes discussion on item number 3. Before we take our vote, however, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We have no speakers on this item.
Thank you again. May I have a motion on agenda item number 3?
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Is there any opposition? Let the record show there's no opposition and the motion passes. We will continue now on to item number 4, which is to approve award of contract number 2025 MD 053, district-wide janitorial services to AIM to Please Janitorial Services, Inc. The staff report begins on page 5, and Dave Rivera is here to present the report. Dave, please begin your report.
Good morning, Chair Garbarino and Board of Directors. here today to talk about approving award of contract number 2025 MD 053 district-wide janitorial service to Aim to Please Janitorial Services. The staff recommends approving this contract. Aim to Please is already our incumbent. They have been doing the work. This custodial contract will cover the Golden Gate Bridge Toll Plaza facilities, transit bus facilities, Golden Gate ferry vessels, and the Larkspur ferry terminal. We had 8 firms that applied. Aim to Please was selected out of it. There's no contract-specific DDE or small enterprise. However, Aim to Please is a certified DDE, so 100% DDE participation will occur during the performance of this contract. So we're asking for a 2-year term with 3 one-year options. Total cost would be, with everything total, $1,631,538. If there's any questions, please feel free to ask.
Any questions of David? No? That concludes our, thank you, item number 4. Before we take our vote, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
No speakers for this item.
Thank you. May I have a motion on item number 4?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposition? Let the record show that there is no opposition and the motion passes. We will now continue on to item number 5, which is an informational monthly report from board appointees on the Sonoma Marin Rail Transit Board. And I'll start off the report with and then ask David if he would like to jump in. So, and I know Barb wishes to speak on this item, so she will be here shortly, I'm sure. So, ridership is really the whole story. It's up 27% since in August of this year from August of last year. We are moving forward with the voter-led initiative, and I know people have a lot of questions about that, but the signatures are already being gathered, so that, as you all know, probably is a 50+1 will extend the quarter-cent sales tax for another 30 years. And that's pretty much it. Many people are working very hard to make that happen. And I believe, as an editorial, SMART is becoming a thing. People are chatting about it. And did you ride it? Isn't it great? Yeah, I went up for dinner and I came back. Everything was good. So the positivity is palpable. Would you like to add anything, David?
Well, I think two things. One is that we signed a significant contract to go to Healdsburg, first phase, with for that next stretch. I think it was plus or minus 30 million-ish. So that was great, and that was celebrated. Obviously, we're still going north. And then the other one that made the news too, due to the lawsuit that we're pathway, we did a resolution of necessity. Kind of an odd one because it was all on land that we already have path and train on. So it's securing some properties going forward, down that eminent domain path, trying to come to a head on getting this all clarified so that we can move forward. As I mentioned before, the history of railroad easements, if you could imagine, and the time they were written and the calligraphy used. There are many different types of easements that had different types of clauses, and it's a lawyer's dream. Or nightmare.
And as of this was all from our board meeting on the 17th, there were 67 owners that had been contacted. 47 agreements remain unsolved, and it may be fewer now. And 9 of those owners, because of the longevity of the issue, had not been found. So hopefully by our next board meeting, it may be cleared up. That was a wonderful report, David. Thank you. And are there any questions of us from that report? Okay, that concludes our discussion on item number 5. But before we move on, is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item?
We have no speakers for item number 5.
As you all know, there's no action required for this item, so we will continue on now to item number 6, which is a status report on engineering projects that begins on April 11th. And John Everly is here to present the report. John, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair Garbarino. Committee, I've written reports before you. There are a few items I'd like to bring to your attention. First, on September 15th, a couple weeks ago, we received confirmation from Caltrans that the $400 million discretionary federal grant funds finally obligated for the suspension seismic retrofit project. That's great news. You know, it's one of the last parts that we needed before we could actually continue into the construction phase. So that came through. We're fully obligated now with $400 million. In addition, engineering staff has been working with our consultants and with the CMGC. We're in the final costs and contract negotiations right now. We hope to reach an agreement with them, hopefully, and very soon. And if that's the case, then be coming forward, hopefully next month with action for this committee. Then this Monday, some of you may have felt we had a 4.3 earthquake that occurred in Berkeley, and about 3 a.m, we immediately contacted the sergeant's office. There was light shaking felt here, but none of our alarms went off. But we did have our strong motion instrumentation program that we awarded a contract to a couple of months ago. And last year, some instrumentation and monitoring devices were installed, and we get real-time data now. So it happened at 2:55 in the morning, and at 2:55 and 58 seconds, we received a report. So that's very good. The system does work. It did confirm that, as the sergeant's office and everyone here noticed, that there was some motion, but it wasn't very strong motion. So confirmation. That's very important. So we get real-time data so that we could confirm that. And if there is some major event, we'll know the magnitude, we'll know the displacement, we'll know the acceleration, we'll be able to react. So I wanted to report on that. The SDS contractor is continuing to remove scaffolding out there, so we're continuing night work. If anyone gives you asks about it, that's what is going on out there. Hopefully we'll be completed with that in the next couple of months. But they are removing the remaining access platforms. Sarahville bus facility, we're almost done with that, but we've been experiencing some challenges with PG&E scheduling them to come out to do their inspections, and then also they need to install a transformer to do the last phase before we cut over and actually are able to use our new solar panels out there. So the work is continuing, but hopefully now in October is when they're scheduled to come out and perform that work. And then hopefully after they do that, we'll do the last cutovers. So by the end of the year, they will be up and running. We do have good news though. It's a Novato bus facility. PG&E did come out and allowed us to do a shut off so we could install a switch, which will allow us to hook into a temporary generator just in case there's any incidents where power goes out. Plus the roof and windows and the painting project is all complete. So that project is complete. And then I just wanted to bring to your attention sign of the current contracting and construction atmosphere out there, I guess is a good word. We've advertised for a project for environmental permitting and design services to repair a large culvert that we have at Larkspur, and we received no proposals. We contacted the people. We have a number of people who actually downloaded the form. They actually came out, did a site walk, and they just said they're too busy, and there's a lot of work out there. So they said there was nothing wrong with our contract documents. They're just too busy. And that's consistent where some of our projects we've only received 1 or 2 bids. So the market is still pretty busy out there. We are re-advertising the project, and hopefully someone will break free and at least give us a proposal so we could move on that project. And that's also when we get pricing, it's indicated in the pricing too, since the market is still pretty hot. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions on the rest of the report.
Thank you, John. Jim, go ahead.
Thank you for your report, John. In the report, it mentions the wind fairings, and I was wondering if there's any report on how they're doing, and are they successful, or is it a little too early in the season?
So the report to wind fairing we completed the painting finally. So the contractor completed painting on the wind frame and all the pickets. And then our district forces are installing the clips on the pickets. So they have been doing that work, and we're, it's kind of been filling because they've been working on some other operations, but they now have some dedicated crew people who are going to continue with that. We have had a couple of wind events, but on main span, there's the span 2, which is south span. Span 3 is the north. We do have noise. It is coming from span 2 because we don't have any clips there, but we have clips on span 3. So the clips do work. So that's the good news. But we just need to complete install.
And when do you think that'll be completed?
It's a day like today, you could not do the work because so camp out there with the fog. So you do have to have dry conditions for the crews. They do like an alcohol wipe before because you have some adhesive materials, and so there is a weather component to it, and it's not the highest priority sometimes for the iron workers. So we have some folks that when they can, we have them out there doing it when the weather is good, and they're making good progress. Just to remind everyone, there's over 12,000 clips that need to be installed.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Is there anyone from the public? Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, John. Thank you for your report. I was going to ask the same question. Thank you, Dr. Meston, on the wind fairings. But I had an additional question with reference to your notes on page 36 with regard to the outstanding piece of equipment that has finally been delivered. You note that there was a sidewalk to determine if there are any conflicts or outstanding details that need to be addressed, and consideration of installing that remaining equipment. I'm wondering if there were any to date. Have there been any? Is there any new information that is going to delay the project any further? And if not, when do you think it will be delayed? At least this portion for the short-term fix.
So on my page 36, with regard to the electrical project, correct? So we had a walkthrough this week with 2 different electrical contractors and our electrical design engineer who was doing the short-term repairs. Excuse me, that was on Tuesday. So they came out. We have the preliminary drawings. We wanted to do a walkthrough with the contractors so that we get some feedback from them on if any modification needs to be done, because it's about access, where you're going to put the equipment, how you're going to get it there. We, the district, need to modify some of our platforms where the equipment is going. So we wanted to understand from them offsets, make sure that so all that being said, we did have the walkthrough this week. We're going to modify our drawings next couple of days. We asked for a price from the 2 different contractors. We hope to get that next week, and then we'll start probably sometime in October doing the actual work.
So these 2 contractors, they're contractors that we directly contacted for consultation.
So this
is not bid. It's not a bid project. Right?
So this is the emergency contract that we have different procurement rules. So PV Electric, who has been the primary contractor, who we've been dealing with, we wanted to make sure that their price wasn't going to be. We wanted it to be reasonable, and so we have another electrical contractor, Roaston Electric, who we've worked with before, who's reputable and does the same similar work. We wanted to make sure that we get the best value for the repairs.
But the award has been granted to PV.
Yeah, the award has not been granted to either. We are requesting proposal on a T&M basis based on the scope of work that we have right now.
Okay. So information was gathered from these 2 contractors in order to put together a good bid package in order to get good numbers from different contractors. Okay, got it. Thank you so much for the explanation.
Thank you, Abby. Anyone else? Is there anyone from the public wishing to speak on the item?
We have no speakers for this item. We do have a speaker for the next item on the public comment.
Okay. Since there is no action, thank you again, John. associated with item number 6. Is there anyone from the public? No. Or address the committee under number 7?
We do. Justine, I'm going to let you introduce your public commenter. I believe he's on your line.
Thank you very much. We have David Pelpel this morning who would like to speak under public comment. David, please go ahead.
Great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thanks.
Excellent. David Pelpel from San Francisco. Some comments related to the Mascots Transit Service Plan, which I do not see on your agenda today, and apparently there's no Transportation Committee meeting, so I was just going to take a couple of minutes on that, if I may. I was surprised that a staff recommendation is not available today on that Mascots Transit Service Plan. The public was promised that following the public hearing last month. When transit fares and bridge tolls were last increased, the public expected that transit service would be maintained. Fares and tolls were increased to support the district's transit service, not redirect it. The district had a mascots page on its website at goldengate.org/mascots plan that was not working last week, but it now appears to be working. However, it has not been updated recently. MTC, however, seems to have its own mascots website, which was updated last week. So I find it a bit confusing that there are several pages that different agencies have. I believe that Marin Transit has already changed their approval timeline once 2 weeks ago based on the district deciding how to proceed in September. I presume that could change again. If one of the goals of mascots is better coordination, as if there was only one transit agency operating north of the bridge, then it seems to me like the effort is already falling somewhat short, and I am disappointed. Discontinuing Route 101 service north of Novato is a major policy choice which should not be taken lightly. I urge this board to carefully consider this issue. Finally, it appears that Nancy Whelan has announced her retirement from Marin Transit. I hope her retirement does not directly affect the mascots plan, and I wish her a well-deserved retirement. Thanks very much for listening.
If I may, Madam Chair, to the Speaker, Mr. Pelpel, we received a significant volume of comments and a lot of detailed comments, and so we'll be coming to our board in October. In my general manager's report, I can call out to the board the second item of the report that the mascots effort is still proceeding on schedule, but that it'll come to our board for a potential decision at its October meeting. The implementation date for mascots is next year in the springtime, tentatively April, and that's not affected by us trying to accommodate all the public comments we have and to see what modifications we can make. We're doing that in concert with the other agencies. I was in a cutaway bus with our bus ops folks, our planning staff, Marin Transit staff, including Ms. Whelan, just last week, reviewing some of the comments in the field so we can see, if it's possible to adjust some of them. So we're trying to be responsive to public comments. And so when we come forward, we're likely to have some modifications made, which is, I think, the intent of the whole public outreach process. But we look forward to coming next month to this board. We look forward to implementing mascots. And I definitely appreciate Mr. Pelpel's thoughtful comments on this matter.
Thanks very much. I appreciate the general manager's reply.
Thank you. We've reached the end of the agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
I was sure.
Hearing no objections, this concludes the meeting of the Building and Operating Committee. Thank you, colleagues. Hello, Barb. The time is 9:27.